Hi, and welcome back to the Answers You podcast. Here we discuss every week little topics on how to improve relationships. I'm a big believer that the moment we start shifting internally, we create a ripple effect for every single relationship we have in our life. And most importantly, we create lasting changes within the relationship we have with ourselves. So today I want to talk about 3 signs that a connection is not aligned. And I was inspired by a friend of mine, and they recently shared with me that they met someone that made them feel very nervous and anxious when they were around them. And that goes for dating, and that can be any single relationship you have in your life. So I just want to keep that very broad. If there's someone in your life that you just met, or it's a colleague, it's someone, a neighbor, whatever it is. If it's someone in your life, I mean, maybe it's a neighbor, it doesn't really matter to you. But if it's someone who would matter to you, let it be a friend, family member, whatever it is. Someone you date. If they make you nervous, if they make you anxious, and you can't really pinpoint to what it is, it can be that they're super nice and you're just like, wow, I mean, there's really nothing. And then you start twisting it around where you're just like, well, it has to be just me. Maybe I'm just nervous because I'm not that confident. Maybe I'm just nervous or anxious because I was stressed out all day. So you put that more on yourself. But now ask yourself for this first one, if you were similarly stressed out, would there be like another good friend of yours that would actually make you feel calm? Or another family member that you would call when you would not feel your best and they would make you feel calm? And I think we all have those people where even when we feel our worst, when we're just like, oh my God, I don't even want to be around people, at least I have that, when I feel absolutely terrible, I do not want to be around anyone. But there are still those people that I would call and I would know 100% that they would help me regulate my nervous system and feel better. I would not be more anxious. I would not be more nervous. I would feel calm because they help me create that safety within again where I know I have a support system and I will be fine. So number 1 is really a good indicator. If someone constantly makes you feel nervous or anxious, there's something wrong. And it's not on you to keep putting it on yourself and making you the issue. It's always 50-50 when it comes to energy. So, of course, you might have a part in it and maybe you do not feel that confident. So it's like about you, of course, questioning those beliefs that might be a problem here too. But if you are in a situation where you feel like you're nervous and anxious and put it on something like, maybe I'm just stressed out all day, or maybe I just didn't get enough sleep, blah, 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 whatever it is, and you put it on that, but someone else that you're connected to, like a really good friend or a family member, would make you feel calm in the same situation, then there is something wrong. There is like a disconnect. And that is for you to pull back, especially when you're dating, when it's like someone you don't really know, and it's like the first couple of times you're seeing them, and they're making you constantly nervous and anxious, there's something wrong. And if it's not someone in your life that has been there or that needs to be in your life, you should really question if that is a good fit, because that is your body telling you there is an energetic misalignment. So that's number 1. Number 2 is if someone is making you feel wrong, like something is wrong with you. It blends into the first one a little bit, like I said, if there is someone making you anxious or making you feel nervous, where you put it on yourself, maybe it's just me being not that confident, whatever. But it goes like a step further. It goes into when people start to gaslight you or do not see the responsibility in conflict situations. Maybe you have someone in your life that every time you have a conflict, they twist it around as long that you think you're the problem. So it doesn't really have to like go all the way to gaslighting, where they really just put you down and blame you because they cannot take any responsibility. But it can be little things too, where someone just doesn't feel like they need to apologize, or they just say this is just how you are, and you're more receptive to it, so you take it all on. So if there is a relationship in your life where they always make you feel like something is wrong with you and you should be changing, but there is no responsibility on their end, or someone who doesn't see their part in it or doesn't feel like they need to change at all, that is a big red flag. And there you should really pull back and review that. Of course, also take that as your opportunity for your own growth journey, thinking, okay, why can someone actually make me feel wrong in that moment? Because the moment someone makes us feel there is something wrong with us, there's a part within us that believes that. And to start healing this kind of belief, where we feel there might be something wrong with us, we have to really sit with that. What part within me feels there's something wrong with me, and what is it? Maybe it's me not feeling worthy. Maybe it's me thinking I should be doing more to actually be allowed to receive love, or to open myself up to do nothing, or whatever it is. So it's really about working through that belief that is actually at the core of this. Because if someone makes us feel like something is wrong with us and we get upset, we get triggered, it's because there's a part within us that believes that to be true. But in general, this is number 2. If someone makes us feel wrong about who we are as a person, that's a red flag, and you should pull back from that. See what is showing up for you as your opportunity for growth, but pull back from that relationship and review that. Number 3, which is also very important, you feel like you cannot show up authentically. And I feel like we all have those connections in our life where we just feel like we have to present ourselves in a different light. We have to put on a show. We have to dress differently, or talk differently, or maybe we even just notice that we are speaking like with a higher pitched voice, which is always a sign, and you can pay attention to it because then you start noticing it in others too. The moment you start having a higher pitch in your voice than you normally would, your nervous system is activated. So there's this level of activation, this level of nervousness, where you just don't feel like you can fully be in your body. So people that are completely grounded in their body, they will always have like a lower pitch in their voice. They can talk slower. Maybe that's something you notice too. Maybe there's someone who makes you feel like you got to talk faster, which is always a sign that someone is nervous, when they're like, blah, 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 instead of just taking a breath and just share. And I feel we all have that, but it's so important if it's like a connection that you really want to build on, that is like part of your future. It's a no-go if you cannot authentically show up as the person that you are. And excuse me, I'm still working through a cold. Yeah, so it's like those little things where you can really feel like there is those people that you have in your life, and look at those people. I feel like this always gives you like the right image. There is friends and family members where you can completely be yourself, and if you show up and you're a mess, then they love you this way. And if you're fabulous and feel great, they mirror back that energy. They're with you, they're in this energy, and they can also hold you when you're not there and when you need to be held, when you are this mess, and can just show up authentically with whatever you bring to them. And they will just hold it. There's no need to be different than who you actually are, or feel different than you're actually feeling. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. So it's really paying attention in connections, if connections are making you feel nervous or anxious, if you feel they make you feel like something is wrong with you, and if you feel like you're not showing up as your most authentic self. It's those three things. And really allow yourself, when you have a look at those connections where you're questioning, are they really aligned? Are they not aligned? Don't always focus just on you and that something is wrong with you. It's very important as you heal that you focus on self-awareness and self-reflection. And of course, all our connections will always show us where we need to grow, where we also face discomfort because we're supposed to be healing and work through beliefs that are not serving us. But if there's like this constant energy that is not positive, you really need to pull back and see if that's just in this connection. And if it's just in this connection, then you got to ask yourself if this is aligned or not. And then don't be scared to allow yourself to let this connection go, because this is also part of healing and part of learning to love yourself. That you don't always, especially if it's someone that is not really close to you, or someone you just started dating, whatever it is, let them go. Let them go with love. You can just, even if you have to share something with that person, just say it just doesn't feel aligned with me. Like there is something in the connection that just doesn't feel aligned for me. And just let it go. It's really that easy. Just something feels off. I just need to check in with myself, but there's just something that doesn't feel aligned. And people will understand or they will not understand. But if it's someone you just met, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. And if it's some longer connection in your life, then really allow yourself the moment to just pull back and revisit. So you can share with them what is showing up for you and how to work on that with them together. So this relationship can move into a healthy direction. I hope this was helpful for you guys. Let me know what you think. I'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for listening to the Answers You podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to subscribe at Terra Healing, to follow us along on YouTube, or subscribe on Apple Podcast or Spotify Podcast to The Answer Is You. Feel free to also follow us along on Instagram for daily insights on how to heal body and mind. In our link in bio, you will find free stress and anxiety resets, calming and relaxation playlists, as well as informations on classes, workshops, and one-on-one offerings in person in the Pittsburgh area, as well as virtual sessions. You can also find our links to our healing journals, as well as download our new trigger journal. We can't wait to see you there.